What's going on, everybody? Doc Average Gamer Guys back again. More Last Day on Earth action. So today, as promised in our last video that you might have checked out, we're gonna spend some time talking about our thoughts on the Hunter's Instinct event going on right now. While we do that, we got a lot going on in the game actually currently. So we have just under 8 days left. And we have about 9 days left in the season. As of the recording of this, we're level 63. We're a little bit lower than we typically would be at this point, but that's okay. We're about to get some points here because we're going to jump in. We have both the Hunter's Instinct event going on, current new event in the game. We have the anniversary bonuses coming up or going on. I just clicked and grabbed our 5th day. We have Arena that we need to go knock out and do. I have taken care of Dog Breeder already. This is just a quick shout out. If you're watching this video, you have a handful of days. You can be picking up level 3 dogs from the Hunter's Instinct event rewards. So this is awesome to use during this event. Dog Breeder, both of them going on at the same time is pretty well timed, I would say, and pretty neat because again, you can turn level 3s, potentially get multiples, breed them, potentially get a true friend. We just did a whole deep dive on dog breeding as well on our series, so go check that out. And yeah, that's going good. And we've got Bunker Bravo and fishing tournament going on. So there is just a massive amount of stuff going on. We're probably going to go and try to take care of this, tackle this or a few of these things here in the very near future. But I will be jumping into Arena as well to get our clearance going. On free-to-play, I think I have, I want to say it's high-tech components here and something else. I can't remember what else we got in the 11th slot. These two are different, so I'm going to definitely be trying to get through that as well. But today, we're going to go ahead. We're going to run through Bunker Bravo here. We're going to pick up some points. We're going to try to do that stuff. We need to kill some zombies, deal some damage, and take down Dr. Dread. So we'll jump into this. As we get going into it, though, I'll spend some time talking about this Hunter's Instinct event. Now that we've had just a couple of extra days from the recording of the last video, I've been working through it on my free-to-play account, and I've got some thoughts. Let me make sure I set myself up here correctly. I'll grab that. All right, let's get into this here. Stop it, toxic spewer. Hate you, riot zombies. So first and foremost, I know every event it feels like that Last Day on Earth comes out with is met with differing of opinions. Some people like them, some people hate them, think they're cash grabs. I would say they're probably both. It's hard not to say that they don't do some of these things in order to generate some revenue for the game. There is probably quite a bit of work that goes into them, and I do think they are in some ways intended for that, as is this game, right? It's a free-to-play game. However, the development of the game has to be funded from somewhere. So some people need to be spending some money on some things. I think the battle pass and the season pass that they have had has been the best thing. I think that is just unfortunately the current state of gaming, and it is what it is, and the rewards for that are pretty good. I've talked about that. I think if you're ever going to spend your money anywhere, I think that's probably the best investment, if you will, or best place you can spend some money. So those are my initial thoughts on that. How do I like the event? I think this event is the best event we have had since the Winter of Despair event. And here's why I say that. It takes everything that I enjoyed from the Winter of Despair event, as in the ability to progress. We get some new mods. In this, we even get a new weapon in the sniper rifle, which is really cool. And I thought the Winter of Despair event was neat because it had a location associated to it. It also really gave you the option to kind of go and just hit that location and do some grinding. This one I like better because it essentially incorporates all of the basic locations in addition to some new locations as well. And I think that part's pretty cool. Forgotten Wetlands, for instance, is a great example of this because a lot of folks might not even have had the option yet to see what the swamp is like. And this essentially gives you the ability to go to the swamp. I think that's pretty cool. Now, not everything that you can find in the swamp is there. You obviously can't pick up any ash planks or anything like that, but you know, all things being considered, that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. I like the locations. I like the fact that each of the locations that we're used to going to, you can still pick up your basic resources, but they've been kind of reset and are more aligned to the event. We have new animals. I think that part is really cool. So overall, I like the event. The other thing that I like about the event the most out of anything, I think the reward track is good for the single time you can buy the rewards. I think it has a lot of things that people were asking for. Tactical backpack. We get a new, container, if you will, at the base, which I think is awesome. All of those things being said, I think the best thing that we have out of this is the fact that we have a new, or a reward track that allows us to pick a daily store that allows us to pick rewards each day. Now, I should also have covered this up front. I understand that a lot of the criticism of events like this is because I would say a lot of people feel as if they should be able to maximize it, especially for those attempting to play free to play. Here's what I will say. I'm not going to say that's right or wrong, a level of thinking. You can think as you will. I don't believe that that's a fair assessment of the event. I don't know that you should have the assessment that you can make max rewards on every single event that comes out if you're free to play. I say that though, I do think you should be able to get pretty dang far if you're consistent and you grind and you play every day. I personally think that you should be able to complete it if you play every single day and you maximize your resources. With that being said, if you have some rations is one of those things that's going to allow you to progress in this event. We talked about that in our last video. It's going to let you reset the location, get more abrasive, refill the samples container, and then therefore you're going to be able to do more stuff. I want to say I think that part is really important. I don't particularly believe that every free-to-play player should be able to complete the event just because they played it, and played it a little bit. If you're going to play it and you play it every day, I do think you should get pretty far. And at that point, yes, I do believe that you should have the option or the ability to maximize it. Now, that's grinding, though. Like, that's going to take a bit of grinding. That's going to take quite a bit of doing all the right things, spending your resources wisely, and again, probably using some resources like things like rations in order to reset the location and get the maximum value. So it's probably an unpopular opinion. There's definitely going to be people that disagree with me and say, well, that's where the cash grab part comes in. I 100% understand that. Again, being a free-to-play player in this game is very possible. We're doing it. We have a whole series dedicated to doing it, and it just requires a lot of grinding. I think that's the most important thing that I want to say as it relates to that, is just have the right set of expectations going in. I really think on free-to-play, if you're doing that, you should be able to get into the high 30s. You're going to be able to get a ton of really quality rewards. You should, with the way that the currency system works and the fact that you have a daily store, if you don't buy everything from the single-use one, which most of you probably won't because you don't need chopper parts and a few of the other things in there, you should be able to get some good rank 3 dogs. You should be able to pick up some good other materials like factory parts, carbon composite, and a handful of other things by the time it's all said and done. Again, we have 8 days left. For me on free-to-play, I am almost to level 25 at this point with this amount of time left. So I feel pretty confident we're going to be able to keep grinding. Will I get to the end? I'm not sure. I'm really going to try to strive for that. but I'm recognizing, again, I'm trying to be very smart with my resources, my weapons, make sure I'm filling up that samples container as much as I possibly can. So again, feel free to disagree with me in the comments below by all means. Do not ever feel like you need to spend money on this game. I will say that. If you enjoy playing it and you're down for a grind, this is the game for you. That's what this is going to be. It's going to be a grind. You have to expect that. And events, unfortunately, are no different. The cool part about this ends up being is that we have anniversary bonuses going on at the same time. I'd like to see these to be a little bit better personally, or I would have liked to see them be more well aligned to the event itself to allow you to get some further participation. So we would have seen, for instance, like maybe a machete here with the Hunter's mod on it, right? And maybe some additional abrasive or abrasive a little bit sooner into the track instead of the 6th day in. And then the crossbow, and then maybe something else related to the event. Maybe 20 rations or something so you could reset the location. I don't know. I think that would have been pretty cool. Or this anniversary bonus should have had nothing to do. It should have had nothing to do with the event at all, and it should have just been fun, cool things. I do like 2 reanimators. I think that part's pretty neat. And some heals. That's good too. I'm interested to see the poster and see this up, but this is just a cosmetic at the end of the day, so something to just kind of show off that you were playing during this time. But like I said, there's some good and some bad. Set your right expectations. Don't spend money if you don't feel like it, but don't be, I just want to say this, just don't be upset if you don't get this sewing rack if you're free to play, right? Think about what you can get and what's going to help you to get further into the game, and then the next time an event like this comes around, hopefully you're in a better position with some different resources to be able to take advantage of it. And I do think the way that it's set up, I do think you can get quite a bit of progress each day. If you fish, if you get the abrasive, especially if you can get to level 25 and defeat the bear, get some extra abrasive. I think that part's going to be really, really important for folks to be able to get additional progress, because then you're going to be able to make an additional weapon. That allows you to kill some more animals. You can then fill your samples container up. I think folks are going to be able to see some extra kind of reward from that as they get a little bit farther into it. Hopefully in another day or two, maybe you're clicking up near there, up at around 25. Then you can take the bear down and get access to that. So I say all those things, but hopefully my tips video was helpful, and lots of folks commented on that and threw out some additional comments on how to work it a little bit better, such as like sneak attacking the bears and then running out and doing that consistently to save some weapon durability. Super smart. Boars, I have found, if you let them run into something, you can usually 2 or 3 shot them with some weapons, with your machetes or with the crossbow. So that hopefully is a really helpful tip for you. So those are some initial thoughts. Overall, I like the event, and I like the event because you have a daily shop and you have a really good reward track, and you're getting a whole bunch of other free rewards by playing it, right? You have all of the things that Isabel's going to give you, which is some pretty solid stuff. You can then use your points to buy some other things, essentially for just completing the little kind of side missions. That part I actually also really like. I thought this was a really cool idea, personally. I don't know what everybody thought about it. I would have liked to see where you didn't have to complete each one of these in order. That would have been nice. I would have also liked to see, although I think these were pretty well set up in terms of the rewards here, I would have liked to see the ability to reset this, or reset these pages maybe. The problem with that ends up being it probably would take like coins or something else. But I would have liked the ability to get some additional things just to get some more flow to the daily shop, right? My grind right now is essentially just working towards getting all this stuff for the daily shop, and that's not bad. But I would have liked the opportunity to go, I'm gonna hunt bears, right? I'm gonna hunt more alligators. I would have liked the ability to reset these. I think that personally would have made a small improvement, and would have been pretty cool. Drawbacks. This isn't really a drawback. I just hate getting weapon mods that I'm not sure if we're ever going to see again on weapons that haven't had mods before. Crossbow, for instance, getting this Hunter's Instinct, or this Hunter's, the Sharpening Blade. Let me get that mod and let me install it on my weapons at my base. Give me a new type of weapon workbench where I can put materials in and do that. You can't tell me that I don't have materials that I can't do that with, or you could change it. And what if that then gave a bonus to using that weapon, for instance, when killing animals? If I could take, for instance, machetes or even the spears, right? Spears are a great example. If I could take the spear, put it into a crafter and have it take whatever, how long it takes, an hour, with some additional materials, and then it could come out sharpened. And then when I go to kill an animal, let's say I get 2x the meat and the rawhide from it. That would be huge. That would be so huge. It would be such a cool way to utilize some of these mods that they've put in the game. We saw the ancient weapon thing. We've seen the fire, which is cool. That has stayed persistent. But we can't get the ammo mods for any of those things. And I would just love to see some of these mods stay in the game. And come back, rather, because I think that part would be really, really neat. And I think a lot of people would really appreciate it. I know I would. And it would be persistent. My biggest gripe from this update isn't the update itself. It's just that I had my hopes up pretty high that we were going to get a persistent update, something that was going to remain. My only saving grace, or my only just like shred of hope for that, is that maybe, like just maybe, like the animals stick around. Like, I will be very disappointed if the animals don't stick around. At least the alligators in the swamp zones, and like the boars, they can run around like limestone cliffs or whatever. And the limestone areas, I don't know. I'm gonna be pretty disappointed if we see these animals and then we don't ever see them again. And it's a little sad for me, because think about all the time and energy that went into actually creating those assets and putting them in the game and modeling them and doing all the other things. And then we don't even get to enjoy them after the event. So that's not a negative gripe or a complaint. I was really, really hoping for an update that brought something new, consistent to the game. The event is cool. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, I enjoy that. I'm going to restore here. I was not paying attention. I guess I had 80 health left. It's because I'm chatting too much. That's just my biggest gripe. I really hope some of it sticks around. I really hope this hunting rifle sticks around. I think that is really, really cool, if I'm being honest. I would love to see that hang around. And yeah, it feels like a little bit of a waste if it doesn't. And I know that there's a world in which the event comes back. Typically with events like this, they find a way to bring them back. We saw, some of that stuff come back around. Although Winter of Despair, this might just be like the anniversary event, which I would also be kind of fine with, to be honest with you. I just wanted something new. I wanted something new. I think the locations were really cool. They did a nice job. I understand locations like this aren't going to stay, and like this, because they're not going to bring something in here. But I was really hoping we were going to see some consistent content. I saw a really cool suggestion about having like a bunker, or even doing like, imagine they just did one portion, like one small swamp section over here or something that you could reach with the boat. You know what I mean? Just something extra, or maybe a new location that just has a bunch of animals to it. Again, boars and alligators would be a little bit of a pain, but would make the swamp feel so much more immersive than it is right now. And it's devoid of animals, right? So that being there makes a ton of sense for the location itself. It also would just really be kind of cool. And then boars and some other things, I would love an opportunity to get extra, like I said, between the mods and those animals, I'd love the opportunity to kill a few additional animals and get some extra meat and some extra rawhide, right? If that's all it came down to, I'd be very, very happy about that. And I think they could leverage, again, a lot of the things that they built and they have installed and done already and modeled and put together. Feels like you could use that and use those assets and bring something new to the game that's persistent. And I think that would be really, really smart. So those are my thoughts. Oh, one other negative that I do have to cover. And I think this is probably the biggest probably the biggest gripe I have about the whole event. The fact that when you use one of the weapons and when it breaks, you don't get, it's very hit or miss if this actually happens, but a lot of times you're not getting the credit for killing the animal with that type of weapon, and therefore not getting the skins in those things. That is a big L. That was something that needed to be taken a look at. If you're dealing the final blow of damage to the enemy and you're using that weapon, like, why does it consider it damage? That part did not make any sense to me. It's been pretty frustrating, and it makes it essentially so that the weapons lose, in some regard, lose some of their durability, their usable durability, because you can't do anything with it. Now, I have seen, and I've been able to replicate that if you are going to do that, if you can single strike the enemy, such as using it like a sneak attack and then hitting the enemy, if you do it at that point, I am seeing that you typically do get the rewards from it. You do get the special animal hides and those kinds of things, but just keep that in mind. It's not guaranteed by any stretch of the imagination. So I just wanted to say that, and I think that is the biggest improvement that's needed. It's hard enough to grind the weapons. It's hard enough to get that. I don't need the game also taking away essentially my killing blows a lot of times with those things. I also think if the weapon breaks, even if it's not a killing blow, like, you should still, you are still using the proper weapons, the properly sharpened weapons with the mod on them, even if the weapon breaks. So I think that was something that definitely, if the event comes back or we get something like that in the future, I think that needs to be fixed. And I think that's probably my overall biggest complaint, outside of just the disappointment of not having a consistent update. Because I really think that's taking away, it's just taking away from the experience and the hard work, and the grind. It really is. I mean, it doesn't logically make any sense. I guess that's the other reason that I'm not as much of a fan of it, is it just really logically doesn't make any sense for the event. If I'm hunting, and doing the thing, then I should have no problems, swapping weapons and doing whatever I need to do to be successful from that regard. So, all right, I'm gonna focus up here, and our armor is smoked, so I'm going to get a fresh set here, and then we'll go in. I'll just take the combat armor. Why not? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I know lots of different feedback. Again, I have said this many a times, and I obviously make those tips. I want to also say this. I make those tips videos to be helpful for folks, to hopefully maximize the event. Do I spend money on them? Sometimes I do. This last one, I absolutely did, because I wanted to get through it. I wanted to see how the cycle of the game worked. I used a lot of rations and supplies that I had already from season passes, because I stockpiled those things. I don't use rations throughout the normal season, because I just don't usually need to reset locations. I'm at the point in the game where I can just stockpile that resource, and I don't need a ton of time to use them. It's okay if you do, and it's okay if you don't spend money on this game. I would never suggest that you have to in order to get anything done. If you have the disposable income and you really enjoy playing the game, by all means, do it. If this is what you enjoy, do it. Spend money on the things that you enjoy. I think that part's really important for people to just kind of, feel good about, right? Don't ever let anybody make you feel bad for spending money on things that you enjoy. I think that's silly. We all have different hobbies, and we all have different situations that allow us to do those things or don't allow us to do those things. You should never feel pressured either way to do that stuff. With that being said, again, I do make those tips videos to hopefully be helpful for you, and make them to be a resource that is beneficial, so that you can hopefully, again, maximize the best you can out of the events. I think that part, for me, is really personally important, and I want to make sure that you have the option and the ability to get the best out of it. So do keep that in mind, please. And I appreciate all the comments. Honestly, there were some fantastic comments. on that video. It was great from a view standpoint. Lots of folks are joining the channel, so hopefully you're one of those folks checking this video out and hearing some of my thoughts. But all that being said, thanks for throwing comments down below. Let me know what you think. Now that you've had a few days and you've been able to grind a little bit, let me know what your frustration points are, but let me know what you've enjoyed. Personally, again, for me, the daily shop, I think, was a huge W. I think those two things need to come back. I like the track. Again, I think it would be kind of neat if we had an ability to go like farm abrasive somewhere else. Even if it was like a very small amount. Let's say like, I don't know, let's say that you could go to like the limestone areas and maybe you could find 1 or 2 abrasive deposits, or maybe that's something that we unlock a little bit sooner into it. I think having the bear, having that get extra abrasive was a good idea. I thought that part was really cool. But let us get it after like maybe the fox one, once the fox one is complete or something like that. Just so you have access to it a little bit sooner. And again, you can run that cycle of grind. You're using a ton of weapons and doing a whole lot of other things. So I thought that part would be pretty neat and an interesting suggestion. But let me know your thoughts down below. We cleared the Bunker Bravo event here, so make sure you jump in. If you get it here quickly, you can do 2 resets on this. This is a fantastic way to get you some carbon composites, a whole bunch of other stuff that you end up needing. So especially your gas cylinders, which you are going to need a handful of. So make sure you go in, get those, grab your batteries as well. I will definitely be jumping into this on my free-to-play account. So lots coming up for free-to-play. We're going to continue to grind this Hunter's Instinct event. Definitely going to be jumping over, dropping in, hitting the arena, hitting this. So I'll showcase at least 1 or 2 of those things. We have been progressing really, really well on lots of different stuff that we're trying to get done. So happy to see that. And this would be big for me, actually, to come in and to try to knock this event out. Look at that, 6 carbon composite. That's pretty solid. Pretty good rewards, all in all. So we'll wrap this one up here. Lots of talking, a little bit of dying. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'm going to flash some socials. Like, comment, subscribe. We're trying to get to 10K subscribers this year, so please help us out. It takes everybody. Thank you for all of those that are dropping comments down below. Let me know you enjoy the content, throwing out different ideas. Again, I appreciate just good social discourse in the comments down below, but please be polite. And I always believed in just being nice. Just be nice. Just be nice. We can disagree. You could think that everything I just said for the last 20 something minutes was really dumb. That is totally fine. You don't have to tell me I'm dumb. You can just say, hey, I disagree, and here's why. Cool. That sounds good. Most of you are pretty good, so I do appreciate that. So thank you so much. And again, love chatting with you down below. We also have links in the description. If you want to join the Discord, we've got a free-to-play, we've got a Last Day on Earth channel that we post all of the updates, as well as feeds to the Last Day on Earth official Discord, which gives updates as well. So if you want to kind of stay up to date with the game, you can obviously go join theirs, but you can join ours. We chat about it. If you get any good raids, we want to post pictures, any of that cool stuff, you can do that. But that Discord is over there if you want to join us. Love chatting with you. Let me know your thoughts. If you don't want to throw them in the comments below, you can throw them in the Discord as well. We have our main channel, which play totally different games on, but I recommend you go give that a look and maybe throw out a sub as well. I really appreciate that. I'm trying to get to 10K on both channels. So that's our big goal for the year here, as we continue to just grow and make hopefully joyful, and joyful is not a word, but hopefully we're making good content that you're enjoying, and do appreciate it. So with that, I'm gonna go probably get some sleep because I am tired, as you can't tell. I'm stumbling on my words here, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.